Hello, good evening, one and all. Welcome to what is MRC's first racing week in Miami, which I'm very excited by my voice, but I'm actually not very excited because I don't like it. Anywho, we move on swiftly. So yes, we briefly mentioned there, this is our first racing week in Miami. We had some issues on Monday, so apologies to anyone who missed out on the racing. It's just one of those things that happens. But this is the first year of Miami racing in Formula One around the Hard Rock Stadium, which is the home of the Miami Dolphins, apparently. Not that I watch NFL or basketball or whatever it is, it's some American ball game. I couldn't care less. Speaking of ball games, FIFA being dropped on Monday meant that we didn't get a race. Disastrous! So, yes, this is our first race of the week. Thank you EA and Codemasters for making a mess of that. We move on swiftly, and Tier 3 hopefully will make up for the calamities of Monday. We've got many reserves from Tiers 1, 2, 3 and 4, as well as our regular Tier 3 drivers. And as well as that, more importantly, I am joined by the beautiful, funny, friendly and spectacular Rob, aka Gene Genie. Hello, Robert!
Hi, yeah, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I just realised, am I allowed to call you Robert? Is that allowed? Am I allowed to full name you?
Sure, why not? Only my mother calls it to me when I'm being very, very naughty. But
I'll save that for later then.
Exactly, yes. You mentioned ball games, and I'm always up for a good ball game. But let's put my personal life to one side for a minute, and let's enjoy the F1 and see how our drivers cope with this new track. It is a tricky one to master, I'll say that, and I think we're going to see quite a spread of times amongst the drivers in quali and in the race, because putting the more laps you put in, I think the more you'll get out of it, and the more times you'll smashed your car into the barrier, because I know that's all I did on practice trying this out on Sunday for the first time in a very long while.
Yes, I think we briefly were touching on it before the stream that we were in mixed opinions about the call off on Monday. Again, thank you very much EA and Codemasters, you incompetent people. But the track divides opinion, to put it mildly. It's very much Marmite, although in this case most people seem to hate it. It's, to put it mildly, it's a car park, a load of service roads, and in real life the drivers complain about the surface and the actual the condition of it all together. So clearly it's not just us that hate it, it's the real life F1 drivers too. So at least we've got some good opinions to support us.
Yeah.
I don't know a huge amount about this track. I don't think anyone really does, but Confetti Craig is the first car on track. He's currently in the first sector, which most seem to think is the hardest of them. It's a very fast-flowing, high-speed section. If you get one part wrong, you're kind of screwed for the rest of it. But if you get it right, you absolutely fly. Generally speaking, this is quite a low drag track. Low downforce is probably best, but you need high drag for the first sector, otherwise you're not going to keep it within track limits. But Freddie Craig has, who's in the McLaren tonight. He's one of our reserves, proving that if you are regularly checking in, you will get a seat. Oh, Rob Smith's already had a moment in the other McLaren, his Alpha Session. Oh, Baby Horner's got a penalty. Something's happened between them, we'll hear about that later, I'm sure. The section Confetti Craig's in now, the middle sector, this is awfully tight as you go around the back end of the stadium. This three-part chicane reminds me of the old Singapore Sling. Extremely clumsy and bumpy, and I frankly think that's the worst part of the track. If they can get rid of that, this track could improve massively. I really hate it. Flies down the back straight. This is probably the best opportunity to overtake on this track. Huge long straight with a heavy braking zone. This hairpin's coming into now, similar to La Source at Belgium in terms of how tight and slow it is. And then you've got a very tricky exit followed by this little kink at the end to the line. Confetti Craig sets the first time of the session of 29.997. Not a bad lap. Get the ball rolling. So, that's our first competitive lap of the week. Obviously, Tier 1 and 2 calling off kind of ruined that. Let's get some more times on the board. Who else can we look at? Connor. He asked me not to look at him. I'm going to look at you, Connor. He's not on a lap, though. Damn it. Kellogg's is in the Williams today. The beautiful Williams. Viva the Williams. Mark H. Now, Mark Hodgson. I'm going to give you a little shout out. He's in the Alfa Romeo reserving. Normally he's a Tier 2 guy. He's in the Alfa Romeo. Now, did you know today is the 1 year anniversary of Mr. Hodgie and his first MRC podium? One year today.
That surprised me, because I'm sure he's been in the MRC for far longer than a year. and I thought he would have got his first podium long before that.
Nevertheless, apparently he is the one to inform us of this, and fantastic to see that he's still with us, still doing a great job, and he's not a bad lad himself. We do love Hodgie.
Yeah,
another of our tier 2 guys, Jacob, aka 5J Rooster, in the Mercedes tonight. Again, obviously very disappointed Monday not to race. He was very keen to get going, so he's on an outlap at the moment. Who else is on a lap? Gavin! The Banshee Jenkins is on an out. Well, not an out. He's invalidated somewhere, so we'll leave him be. B17. Hello, Boldy. Who else? Ridecar Rambo. Okay, Ryan. He's in his favourite car tonight, the Ferrari. He's in the garage. Bergen in the Aston Martin. He's on a lovely set of wet tyres, just getting himself a little feeler for the track. Nothing wrong with that. Although I can see now he's on the wets, but the time delta says he's on softs, so yeah, maybe a little glitch there. Codemasters all over. Kaiser Soze's on the lap, set a perfect world sector, but he's 9/10 down his current lap, so he's got no ERS either, so I can't see him improving much here. He's in the other of the Aston Martins teammating with Bergen. Bergen, who's my teammate. Don't you hurt him, Kaiser Soze. Look after my teammate, my Willy boy from Tier 1. I love him lots. Unless he's being naughty, then I don't love him. Simba is another man who we are all very familiar with, a long-time member of MRC. In his regular Alpha Tauri seat. Oh, he's pitting as well. What is it with people and pitting when I come on to them in the final sector? Can someone set a lap time? I want to watch someone set a time. Purple sector. Here we go. He's going to surely save me. He does. He sets a lap. He's gone 4th. One of only 6 people set a lap so far. So well done, Mr. Purple. Sambal has just pitted. The curse continues. Connor. He's going to set a lap! Thank you, Connor, in the Ferrari. Teammating with Ryan today. That's a 1:30.4 to go, provisionally second. I'm sure we'll see some times coming down. Obviously, everyone's just getting a feeler and probably a bit of confidence around what is quite an awkward track. Kellogg's on an outlap. Did you want to talk through a lap here, Rob? I'm happy to hear your intake.
Yeah, let's go for it. So we're coming up to turn 1. You break around about 100-metre board, and then you're into a really tricky section on traction control, particularly if you got it turned off, because it's so easy to lose the back end through here. You want to put the throttle down, but you just can't. You can see him holding it there about 25%, and so you can put your foot down here. You look for the black marker board, 6th, 7th, down into 6th, maybe down into 5th for this long right-hand corner. Then you're into this long left where you just don't know where the apex is. You can't pick it out. It seems to go on forever, taking quite a tight line there. It's all about getting the power down early so you can accelerate on this long, basically a straight section. It's a bit like Saudi Arabia, this, where they've put corners in, but they're not really corners. You all take them flat out, and it's all just building you up to another big, heavy braking area. You'll look for the brake boards on the right-hand side here, 100 metres, braking hard, shove it in left, second gear now. You want to hold it in second gear around here, keep it tight to that right-hand side. And then it's about how brave you can be on the throttle through here. Really chuck it in through this section. You can cut quite a bit of curb. You don't want to cut over that sausage curb. Then you're turning left, and then once again it's about how early you can get onto the power. A fairly basic straight, apart from, you look on the right here, it just kinks in a little bit, just there. You've got to be careful not to lose your front wing. I was looking at my rev counter and smashed it a couple of times in practice. It's quite embarrassing when you do that. Right, it's all about picking your braking point here, 100, down there, now. How brave are you in accelerate again? I lost it so many times out of this last corner, and it's so frustrating, but I think Kellogg's has kept that together. One last DRS section and over the line, and that's 7th. Really not a bad lap there from Kellogg's. A lot that you can do to build your confidence throughout the lap, and I think it's all about making sure that you smash your front wing on those first laps, get a banker in, and then you can really push it when you're into those last few minutes of the last sector. And Baby Hornet going first with a 129. I think we're going to see a lot more in the 129s as we carry on through this session.
We are. Another thing we'd like to see, Gavin, Banshee Night Shadow Scotsman Coulthard, has just gone off at that last chicane, sorry, that last hairpin you mentioned about the heavy braking. Incredibly easy to do. We're going to see that a lot today, I think, and as you say there, from Hornet and Confetti Craig in the 29s, very competitive times. A few of the Tier 1 guys on Sunday in practice, I didn't personally take part in other engagements to partake in, but I did see, I'll mention Jay Sarge here, because I think it's a fairly respectable benchmark for a lot of people. He's usually quite quick. He was in a low 29, high 28s was his kind of time range. Ooh, Confetti Craig, very sliding that chicane. But yeah, obviously, someone like him is in the 28s and 29s, that gives you a good benchmark in that you know exactly where the pace is. So for them to be a second off of him early in this session, that's very respectable. I'm sure he might well have found some more on Monday, but that's still very competitive times, even from Connor in third at 30.4. I'm sure he can find something as well. And it really is a confidence track. There's a lot to be found here. Confetti Spray comes to Lost Lion. Oh, 29.3. So there you go. There's that drop in time that we were just mentioning. I'm sure more is to come. Baby Hornet about to start a lap. He's just coming into the pits. This curse. What's going on? Can people just set a lap time, please? Kaiser Soze. Let's jump on board with him. He's in the final sector of the lap now. Well, he's about to start the final sector, I should say. He's currently P5 with a 131.3. So, he's currently 7 tenths up in the purple middle sector. What can he do? Simba just drops it into third, 130.3. Another very competitive lap time there. Just to go a tenth ahead, half tenth ahead of his his student comrade and his title rival Connor. Those two are current first and second in the championship, of course. So that'll be an interesting fight between those two today. Be interesting to see if either of them absolutely go for it or just try and get consolidating points. Kaiser Soze pops it P5, 30.6. Another very respectable lap. Who can we find? Purple steps on the out lap. Back Mazo. Let's jump on board with the Finnish star who's just started the lap. He's just finished the lap because he's running low on ERS, unfortunately. Let's find someone else. Again, we've got quite a few reserves tonight, so we will struggle in qualifying to find some people on the laps. Night Shadow looks like he's just about to start a lap. He's got full ERS, so looks like he's just bringing himself in. Let's jump on board with Gav, have a little flick through the lap. So, as you mentioned, that final acceleration zone really is quite a tricky on throttle with the traction section to come through. Just before the curb is my breaking point there, and Gav seems to find the same reference point. Oh no, Gav! He's gone round at turn 2. It's incredibly so easily done. Especially if you're low traction, it's so little grip. Oh, Gav, we're going to let him turn around in decency, will be nice. Let's not watch him. So, Simba's coming into the pits. He's not going for another lap just yet. Connor, title rival, is on the way out of the pits. Let's see who's currently on track. Kaiser Soze, not on a lap. B17 has invalidated. That's a shame. Come on, Kyle. Pop a lap in, son. You're my teammate in the 100% race at Spain pre-season. I'd like to see you do well, my friend. Jensky, currently P7, has invalidated his current lap. I'm sure he's got time to get back in the pits and go again. Purple Sector's 1.3 up on his current time, which is 32.1. Currently... Oh no, that was in the previous lap then. He's currently in the first sector. Let's stick with him. This long left-hander you mentioned goes on forever. It really is tricky, and to be honest with you, it's so hard to get right. If you get it right though, you gain all the speed down this DRS straight.
Yeah,
it's reap that reward. It's so hard to do.
It's the inconsistency that bothers me, because in so many tracks you know so well, and you know where you're losing time, and you just want to be consistent, right? You just want to give. I just found I couldn't pick, particularly with the line off. It's really hard to pick a point where you need to turn in and where you need to accelerate. Get it wrong, and you get your front right in the wall.
Oh, exactly. Same goes for this whole section. That long right-hander followed by the 3-part chicane. It's so clumsy, so narrow and tight, and it feels like no grip on traction. Purple Sector hunting for that slipstream off of the Ferrari. I believe that was Connor. It is Connor. So Connor's just been harassed by the Alpine, the Scottish Alpine. Anywho, nice and early on the brakes for that final hairpin. Careful on the exit, avoids a little bump just off the curb on the exit there. Full throttle to the line, and what does Mr. Purple do? He consolidates his lap 2 tenths faster, P8. Respectable time. So, Night Shadow, let's try not to jinx him this time. He's in that long left-hander. Gets on the throttle, a little bit late on the throttle, but he keeps it focusing in the right direction, which after what we've seen him do earlier is most important. No disrespect meant there, Mr. Gavin. Interesting, only 12 times currently on the board, and of those, I'm sure most of those drivers would expect and like to go a bit faster. It's just so hard to get a lap in here, of course. So Jordan Byrne, RS10 and Rob Smith all retired from the session. Mark H. Calvin, 5J Rooster, Rekar Ramba and Bergen are all not allowed to set times as per being higher tier drivers. Gav get a bit twitchy through the chicane there, losing that rear slightly, so easily done. So So what can he do in the remainder of this lap? Gets the DRS open. There's the flap action that we love to see. Flappy flappy. He's got an Alfa Romeo ahead of him, needs to get out of the way. Is that Hodgie or is that Baby Hornet? I think it's Hodgie who's ahead of him. I think Hodge might have just been giving him a tow. And then across the line, 1 minute 30.1, he goes third. So after a tricky start to the session, that has got very good very quickly for the Banshee. He'll be a very happy Scotsman. He'll have a drama whiskey for that later.
You learn so much by watching other drivers. Sorry, over the line, he takes the title line across the right-hand side,
Yes.
does he? Which probably saves him a couple of seconds.
I
and
personally agree with that. I keep it as tight as you can. You've got to straddle that curb on the inside, but it can spin you if you go too far over it. Simba just starting his lap, currently P5. Of course, Connor in P3, his title rival, ahead of it at the moment. And his teammate Gavin's just probably fourth. Simba will need title on this lap. Qualifying here could be crucial because turn 1 could be a massacre, as I'm sure everyone's going to be struggling to grip on cold tyres in a very tight, difficult section. So qualifying is vital. Simba, with a very respectable first sector there, he's just over 3/10 off on his current lap. This could put him P3. He needs to have a clean follow on for the rest of the lap though. So I use this brake board here, the 100 metre board on the bridge is my brake point with DRS, and Simba's on the same, hooked that up nicely. Keeps it tight here, that's the right thing to do. Get on the throttle early and let the car hug this inside bit here, run wide and then fully cut the inside curb, and that's a bit wide, but he's kept it neat, so it's all good in the hood. This final curb here is tricky. If you hit it too hard, it sends you into the wall, which of course is a nightmare. What is a nightmare for Connor, however, is Simba's 6/10 up. This could put him P2 on track as it stands. Of course, remember, Bailey Hort's got a 5-place penalty for that qualifying incident earlier on. Simba brakes very late for the hairpin. Just gets a bit deeper into the hairpin. Just keeps it neat. Just gets it pointed on exit. Fires it towards the line. What can Mark Dennison do? 29.8 to go. P2. He lost a tenth of the final sector, but still front row, a few hundreds ahead of the Hornet. Good lap.
Yeah, very respectable time there. Yeah.
Connor's in the pits. The curse continues, as is the Banshee. The curse. Right. Kaiser Soze has just finished a lap, so he's not going to get another one in. He's low on ERS. B17, I've looked for you all session. Are you on a lap? No, he's not. But is he about to start one? We'll come back to you. Jenski just started a lap. Let's stick with the Jensk. The man in the Haas, of course, Haas, an American team in American track. We have to give him some airtime, I guess. Be rude not to, would it not?
Yeah. Let's
go with that. Let's go with that. So the Haasmobile. I prefer to call them Hassholes, but we'll leave that there. That was PG.
Maybe last year.
If anyone wants to claim anything against that, that was PG. I said Hasshole, not anything of any other iteration. Oh, bit wide from Jetski, but he's not invalidated. That's good to see. Connor's retired from the session. What's happened there? He just came into the pits. Oh, Jetski. Oh, he's invalidated. That was very far off track. Let's move on. The Kellogg's in the wall. Oh, there's wings everywhere. Jetski's just retired. We've missed it. Oh dear. Let's move on swiftly. Purple sector. Craig Freakle, the final sector. Oh, he spun as well.
It's happened.
Okay, I've just caught 3 people in a row, all losing it. I am the. Oh no! And then the Williams, in fact, Mazo has just got caught up in that instant, and there's Jensi's car. So has he just gone straight on that chicane? Well, we'll find out later. Anywho, who is on a lap that we can look for? Lots of people in the pits. Simba's pitting as well. Baby Hornet is a 10th in the first sector. What can he do in the middle sector? Bit slow in the chicane, but it's tidy. That's the important thing. He's 7/10 up. Okay, this could be a ridiculous lap if Hornet puts it together. Currently on 29.8. Can the Hornet pop this into the 28s? With a good final sector, he could. Okay, very neat in that final hairpin. He fires it towards the line. It's this little S section to end the lap. Can he get to 28? Not quite, but it's a 29.0.
Good enough.
Wowzer, what a lap. You know what? That is a smashing lap from the Hornet. I am. Call me impressed, my fellow Leeds fan, baby Simon Hornet Jr. the third. That is a fantastic lap. Right, who else is on a lap that we can pick on? Kellogg's, he's got no wing, but he's continued. Fair play. Back Mazer in the pits. Sambal in the pits. Ah, that's everyone then. That's your lot, ladies and gentlemen. So, Baby Hornet gets pole. He does have a 5-place penalty, so we'll drop to P6, which means Confetti Craig, the reserve, will actually take pole. Craigo, good job. Baby Hornet, very good, of course, but whatever happened with that incident early on with Rob Smith has cost him that front row. Simba will take P2 on the grid, followed by Connor. Kaiser says will be 5th, and 6th will be the Baby Hornet, with Gavin stepping up to P5. B17 will be 7th, Jensky 8th, Kellogg's 9th, and Purple Sector P10. Batmazo 11th, and Samba, the last of the drivers to set a time, P12. Rob Smith unfortunately retired early in the session. Then qualifying bans for the following: Mark H. Calvin, Fire J. Rooster, and Riker Rambo and Bergen. RS10 and John Byrne also did not get laps in. Early retirements led to that. So we've got a bit of a mixed up grid. Anything can happen here. And of course, we cannot wait to see it. Right, Rob, it's a bit of a crazy one, but let's do our traditional pre-race predictions. Who's going to win?
I'm going to say Baby Hornet. That was an excellent fast lap to get provisional pole until the 5-place grid penalty was applied. He's proven that he can do it. I think that lap looked really clean. He's had clean laps throughout, apart from the incident we didn't see. I think he'll be wanting to prove a point, and I think he can fight his way up to first.
It's rare that I agree with someone on a race prediction. I always like to go different just out of spite, because I'm one of those stubborn people. But I genuinely think that Simon's got something in him today.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's a nice fella, even if he is a choir singer. All jokes aside, go on, Baby Hornet. Do us proud. Of course, everyone keep it clean. We have no formation laps today due to the ongoing issues with both PSN, EA and Codemaster servers. So we are straight into the race start. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 laps. And we are racing in Miami. Immediately, that is a good start from Confetti Craig. Simba already defending the inside and goes up the inside of Confetti Craig. Kaiser Soze sends one too. Confetti Craig, despite a great getaway, is dropped. Simba's got the lead. Confetti Craig and Soze are side by side for the first sequence. Baby Hornet's
we got a spinner.
Baby Hornet's had a spin. He's out of the session. Oh wow. Okay, we've got a big pile up. That's going to be a safety car, surely. We've got Kellogg's and Baby Hornet out the race. We've got Night Shadow right at the back. There is a safety car. Confetti Craig down to P14. Night Shadow at the back. Several cars have all lost out there. That is huge. Wow, okay. We'll definitely be hearing that in shooting later. That's a huge shame for both Hornet and Craigo, who were the two standout lap performances in qualifying. But Simba, your championship leader, currently in P1. We have got a safety car on track, and of course the guys and girls will regroup behind them. Kaiser Soze is P2 with Connor, the second place in championship man, P3. Jensky and Haas in P4 with B17 5th. Little glitch there, that was interesting. Purple Sector, cracking start from him, P10 to P6. With Batmazo and the Williams, P7. P8 Farjay Rooster, who's from the back of the grid, up to P8. Sam up P9, and Mark H, also from the back end of the grid, up to P10. He'll be a happy chuff. Rob Smith, P11, despite not obviously having the best qualifying session. Jordan Byrne just picked up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting with a broken wing in P12. He'll need to get that sorted, but luckily the safety car gives him a lovely window to do that.
Just a quick...
Oh, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, quick update. Red flag, I think, on that start. It's been, which is, that's just been posted in the official Tier 3 comms by Night Shadow, who's dropped out the session as the host. So
that's a shame. Okay, shame. Well, in which case, everyone, apologies for the drama. If everyone could please leave the session, we will resume very shortly. Thank you and apologies for patience of viewing. We will be back.